Global health currently has become extremely political. It has become quite political and it is moving fast. It's very different from how it was. And in some ways, for instance, in my current organization, we're very small. And the question is, there's thousands of us, how do these small NGOs survive in the land of these giants? And that is a real valid question. And what's going to happen is many will fail, because it's all going to be, it's competitive beyond description. There's a finite amount of money that's happening. And quite frankly, countries are not stagnant. What's going to happen is the needs are going to change dramatically. And so the days of pouring tons of money in are gone, and they should be. These countries are capable and want to take ownership for it. So it's going to be much more competitive in the short term, because there's going to be finite dollars, and the big players, it's their livelihood as it is ours. So for me, it's all a question of what is my value add? Like, what is my value add? And that is what I have to really work hard to define, because I am a small organization and I want to survive. So I think that you're going to see huge numbers shift over the next 5 years in terms of numbers of NGOs. NGOs have to become more efficient, much more effective. Money has to be used in a much better way that's strategically smart. Overheads have to come down dramatically. The large players tend to stay at the national level and don't necessarily get out to where it actually has to happen. And that's where I think an organization like mine is helpful and will be useful, because we're taking those policies and seeing whether they work. What will happen is, I think that over time, some of these health issues will get better. And then as you see fewer of the players on the ground and these heavyweight players on the top not really getting to the ground, you're going to start to see things get worse again. And then there's going to be, there'll be a call to religion, so to speak. There'll be a recognition that we have to do things at the ground level. And I like to say, get our hands dirty. I go to these countries and you have one staff member who is supposed to do everything for 80 patients that have no appointments, they're just showing up for their visit. That is a stark reality. Forget about the fact that everything is paper-based, that there are no pencils, that there is no electricity, that there are no roads. Just even at the very basic, you have one clinician who has to figure it all out. So, how do you cope with that? That's what I mean by you have to step out, right? I mean, when I went there, in some ways I expected little Yales everywhere, right? Or little hospitals, or even community clinics. And I realized that to be successful in this, I had to let go of all of that stuff and maintain my core belief in the ability to achieve what we wanted to achieve, and figure out how to use their strengths.